next week is Mandela Day. Of course, you know that, the 18th of July. And that spirit of Ubuntu and remembering to help others, of course, is heightened on that day. And to mark the occasion this year, EdForAll is empowering 67 South Africans with educational resources that they would otherwise not be able to afford. So to talk about this and how this is going to work, we are joined by Indherani Reddy, who is the COO of Regenesys Business School. So nice to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Leanne, and good morning, listeners.
All right, so we talk about EdForAll. What is this all about?
So EdForAll is or Education for All, is a game-changing, revolutionary education solution giving hopes to millions of students across the globe to realize their potential against all odds. EdForAll's ultimate goal is to empower students to break out of this vicious cycle of poverty, of no education, no job, no money, no education. For us, it's an absolute honor to partner with the Regenesys Business School and provide access to students leveraging technology and the online platforms through an online platform. So it's really a study now, pay later to create a wedge between the poverty and access to no education. From as little as 500 Rand per month, a student can access our student portal, register for accredited qualifications from higher certificate all the way up to a master's degree in business management.
So this particular campaign now that is being launched for the Mandela Day with the 67 students. So is this now, is it at a full sponsorship, or is it what you're saying that they will have to pay it back a bit later? Or how exactly is this particular initiative going to be working?
So the team at EdForAll and Regenesys considered Mandela Day and the 67 minutes and the contribution that we wanted to make in our way an impact in the world. And most times, Leanne, you'd experience a hype around Mandela Day, what we do for 67 minutes, lastminute.com, we get into feeding schemes, we get into sponsorships, and then it's forgotten until the next July 18th. So we thought, how do we make an impact that's sustainable, that actually has an impact on society, on the have-nots, because that's where this really impacts. So we're looking for twofold: 67 students that would write a 150-word document, auto motivation, 150-word motivation on our Facebook page on EdForAll to tell us why they are deserving of this sponsorship. And we're looking for 67 sponsors to sponsor a student. So currently, we already have some 20 sponsors willing to sponsor students, and we're looking for 47 more. So we're hoping that this morning we'll have the opportunity of people contacting us through EdForAll to either sponsor a student or for a student to be sponsored.
Okay, so that's how it's going to work. It's basically finding a match. So you take a sponsor
Correct.
who is going to be paying the full cost of a student to study a chosen course. So that's the idea.
The idea is to give them access to the portal, which is 500 Rand per month. Now, I mentioned study now, pay later. How the model works is during the time that the student is studying with us, it's interest-free, and only after graduating does the student have to pay back the balance of the student fee. So a sponsor, in the case of Mandela Day sponsorship, will pay the 500 Rand per month to gain access for the student to study with us. This could be a higher certificate for a year for those that do not have a bachelor pass, or a bachelor degree for those that have meet the minimum requirements to enter a tertiary education to do a bachelor qualification.
So give us an idea of how much. I mean, because obviously, you know, it could be an individual that's sitting there and thinking, well, you know, that sounds affordable to me. Perhaps I can do that. I can step up to the plate and say, well, you know, how much is it going to cost me to sponsor an individual that they can study for a year or however long it is? Give me a ballpark as to what we can ask for.
So if we looked at the highest certificate qualification, which runs for a year, we're looking at 6,000 Rand to get a student fully sponsored for the entire year. If you're looking at a bachelor qualification, you're looking at 18,000 over 3 years. Now, Leanne, you know that it's virtually impossible for students to study at a tertiary institute for these for that price. And this is what the give back is, the access to education. Now, only once they finish will they have to pay the rest of the student fee. In terms of a higher certificate, the fee would be about 26,000 that the student would have to, 20,000, because we take away the 6,000 that the sponsor already paid. And it's different from a student loan, because a student loan, the student from day one of studying starts incurring interest, and that becomes 30% more, as little as 30% more, as much as 40 to 50 to 60% after 3 to 5 years. And that already becomes the burden. And if we're really trying to make a dent in poverty, and we give this burden of huge student fees with interest from students that come from impoverished backgrounds, we're already giving them, we're not giving them the opportunity to actually pick themselves and their communities up.
Yeah. So obviously this payback that we're talking about, once the student qualifies, it will be obviously when they get work and they can start affording to pay it back. I mean, that wouldn't be something like
Correct.
You qualify and then you got to pay that money straight away and then you won't get the degree. And this happens so often, is that, institutions withhold these degrees because there's X amount outstanding and then they never get their degree from them. So this is something that you can work out with the respective student in terms of the terms and conditions and when they're working and earning money and how they pay that off.
Correct.
Okay.
We have loan holidays during the study period. We engage students financially and we put in long-term payment options for 5 to 10 years. We do not withhold the certificate. Our EdForAll students graduate at the end of their qualification. They get their certificate. And we also partner with Denanda Talent, a recruitment company within the Regenesys ecosystem that helps our students acquire employment after their qualification as well. And it's only once they get their first job do they start repaying back the loan.
Fantastic. All right, just very quickly, one or two things. Just a lot of this is an online course, of course, and that's how it is working.
Correct.
A lot of things work that way. But, when we're talking to the people that we are talking to, sometimes they can't afford something like a laptop. They can't even afford data or Wi-Fi or anything like that. How are you able to support? Can you help them if they are not able to have this at their beck and call and so easily?
So I think Mandela Day puts us in a nice position because of the euphoria of being able to emulate an icon like Madiba. And I'm looking out there at our sponsors that are also in telecoms industry. These could be partners that come on that wouldn't necessarily want to sponsor the 500 Rand per month, but could help us with data and equipment, access to a mobile phone. Yeah, no matter how impoverished we are right now, this little device has become handy for our communication across the globe. And I do believe that we could get sponsors for these students for technology and data, should that be a problem. This could be another reach out to other partners to come across and support these students.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
we're committed to do that.
All right. How do we find out information? So give us details if what you're looking for a student. I know you said they've got to submit something that is, talking to why they should qualify for this. But what are the criteria and how do they get hold of you?
Okay, so the criteria is that you need to have a hunger for educating yourself. That's the minimum criteria. Be hungry for education, be hungry to improve your lives and want to make a difference in your life and those around you. You have to come from a financially disadvantaged family, so there will be credit vetting to ensure that the students that get an EdForAll sponsorship comes from financially disadvantaged backgrounds. You can visit our website, www.edforall.co.za. EdForAll spelled as EdForAll.co.za. There is information on our website as to how you can go about doing your motivation letter and submitting. There's also a Facebook page with EdForAll, just as I've spelt it. You can go onto the EdForAll Facebook page, and we'd love to see your stories there. We'd love to see you trending with us and creating a hype around why you should be the EdForAll student for Mandela Month.
All right, Indherani, thank you very, very much for talking to us. Of course, that's the COO of Regenesys Business School talking about their Mandela Day initiative, EdForAll, trying to get students in and sponsors as well so that they can partner together and hopefully further their education.